I'm not gonna lie, boys. If I did not know better, I would be sitting here saying that Bethesda is intentionally trying to sabotage everything that they have made with their absolute unrivaled, well, not unrivaled levels of incompetence. Wizards of the Coast is the most incompetent company to ever exist. If you know, you know. But Bethesda is a very, very, very close second, sadly. Everything they do somehow just absolutely turns into shit. Fallout 4 had the next generation update, the big thing. And we all know how that turned out. And you know what's the funniest part about the next generation update? They delayed that bad boy for something like 2 or almost 3 years. Because even Bethesda, thought that it's not ready. Yes, that's kind of hard to stomach, isn't it? The fact that even Bethesda thinks something is actually not ready and fit for consumption, considering how absolutely buggy it was. The next generation update, the HD graphics, the everything for Fallout 4, well, first of all, no one even knows if the game actually looks better after the HD update because it's too hard to tell, and a lot of places actually look kind of worse. Second of all, it completely broke the game. A lot of people can't even play Fallout 4 properly anymore. They literally need to they need to download a mod like they're trying to play a game from the literal 2000s, early 2000s, so Fallout 4 even works without stuttering or something like that. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. And Bethesda is going to do this again. Yes. Yes. There is a chance that Fallout 4 is going to get another update. Why? Well, at this point, I can only presume because Bethesda hates us. And that's why they want to destroy everything that we like. There is honestly nothing else that even remotely fits the description because it's like they ruin everything. They unironically really just ruin everything with their updates. And with their game releases. And with everything that they do.
So I've been teasing this in videos for a few months now, but now's time. Earlier this year, I heard Fallout 4 would be getting yet another new update later in 2025. This is definitely a trust me bro type of leak. I did personally confirm this with multiple sources on my end and would wait almost 6 months before posting this video. But if my word alone doesn't convince you, back in 2022 I said Skyrim would be getting an update and DLC that ended up being Creations. I didn't know what the exact name would be when I made that video, but what I described in the video is pretty much exactly what Creations released as publicly a year later. And there is some further evidence that something is coming thanks to SteamDB, a really handy website that tracks changes on Steam. After that next-gen update dropped for Fallout 4, we actually got one more.
Companies have been using this SteamDB to drum up hype for their releases and things like that for quite some time now.
Bug fixing update after that, but then nothing else ended up releasing, although movement on SteamDB continued, suggesting that Bethesda was working on something behind the scenes, but
every single day, another modder of Fallout 4 just gives up because it's too risky to do anything knowing that Bethesda is just gonna ruin all of your work and probably make it completely broken.
But even that eventually stopped around the end of last summer. But then this summer it picked back up again. SteamDB was nerfed. So
by the way, if you ask me, do I believe that Bethesda would just honestly update the game only with the explicit intent to ruin modding? Yes. Yes. This is Fallout 4. Bethesda probably wants every single Fallout player to just move to Fallout 76 for now. It's also going to get some another update as far as I can understand. And, you know, things like that. They want you to be in their microtransaction shops. That's what's happening here. So, not only is Bethesda petty, but they actually have a legit business reason. And yes, this is sad, but this is a legit business reason to sabotage Fallout 4. To force people to go to their other games that actually have microtransactions in them and whatnot. This is disgusting, but this is modern day Bethesda we're talking about.
Now we can't see quite as much info, but we still can see new change lists indicating something is going on, as well as all of these changes from both last year and this year are impacting both Fallout 4 as well as the Fallout 4 press build. Bethesda is likely using a Steam beta to give certain users early access to this Fallout 4 update. And just in general, yeah, the Fallout 4 press build having changes go around it just suggests that something is coming. But that's to say, even if you don't believe me, I specifically waited to post this video until there was some proof of something happening on the backend with Fallout 4 from a completely independent source. And certain users having access to this update is quite important, as the real core of this new update will be around creations coming to Fallout 4. That being the same paid mod system we saw get added to Skyrim and that launched alongside free mods in Starfield. I do suspect this update contains more than just
Okay, listen, if you want a summary how incompetent Bethesda is, it doesn't matter which company you choose, the microtransaction store is always gonna run smoothly, perfectly, like it was coated in a thick layer of delicious golden butter, and then fried in optimal temperature. It's always gonna be perfect. It doesn't matter. Blizzard, Bethesda, well, no, Bethesda, squash that. BioWare, Ubisoft, it doesn't matter. They're all gonna have their microtransaction stores working perfectly. Except Bethesda. They're literally so incompetent, so far gone, that they can't even make their microtransactions shops run properly, okay? The Players Club, or whatever it's called, the place where you give money to Bethesda for literal slop made by people who are gonna shill the Bard's College as an actual expansion because I have 2 brain cells. That garbage. That garbage doesn't work half the time. It has bugs. It's insane. Bethesda can't even properly manage their microtransaction shops.
paid mods or creations, but more on that in a moment. But as this does ship for Fallout 4, it'll likely look a lot like this, paid and free mods side by side, and of course an avenue for mod authors or even modding teams to create paid mod content for Fallout 4 once again. The Fallout TV show led to a massive boost for their games. The most played game was Fallout 4, the main issue being how are they making money there?
One.
Just months earlier, Bethesda added paid mods to Skyrim, but it was bizarrely missing from Fallout 4 right before Fallout 4 got its biggest player boost almost ever. For whatever reason, Bethesda did not expect that crazy jump on their games, but now they do. Speaking with Variety earlier this year, Todd Howard spoke about the impact of Season 1. We learned a lot, and as we head into future things, knowing when a season comes out that there's going to be an audience, both a new one and a returning one to these.
You know what's my favorite part about the Fallout TV show? It was filled to the brim with tourists. In the peak of the Fallout TV show, you could not post anything bad about it without getting, like, you know, a 40, maybe even 50% downvote. It was that bad. But after the Fallout TV show ended, 3 days in, you could talk about how bad the TV show was and how much damage it did to the lore and everything else. And guess what? No one's defending it. Because the Fallout TV show was literally tourist. It was 99% tourist. Because again, I say this constantly, okay? There is no shame. I'm an impartial person. I can say good things about Fallout when it happens. And that is the fact that the Fallout IP is one of the most interesting, best, and potential filled IPs in the world. Easily. It's actually far better and more unique even than Star Wars, in my honest opinion. I like Star Wars, but I'm not that huge of a fan. And Star Wars has a lot of potential, but the Fallout universe also has it. Volktech, super mutants, the irradiated wasteland. Nothing really hits like Fallout does. There's a lot of post-apocalyptic shit out there, but nothing really just scratches that itch like Fallout now, does it? Fallout is just recognizable. It is somehow the perfect amalgamation of, well, exactly everything that you kind of want in an IP. And that is extremely powerful. And it did get a lot of people in it, but that's why it was filled with tourists. And tourists don't come back for Season 2, Todd. All the money that you're currently spending on Season 2, because you think Season 1 was such a success, all of that money is going to be fucking burned when Season 2 launches, and you don't even retain 30% of the original audience that Season 1 had. The tourists never return. Yes, Todd. Have fun burning away your cash. I wonder what kind of desperation moves we're gonna see after that happens. Because tourists never return for season 2. Tourists are in and then they're out. Yep, what the hell did I click on?
Games, we're thinking, how do we make this the best it can be for the players? So while I don't know exactly when this new Fallout 4 update is coming, Q4 has a lot of potential dates. Bombs Drop Day on October 23rd, Fallout 4's 10th anniversary on November 11th. I think this day has a lot of potential personally, but we also know that Season 2 of the Fallout TV show is returning in December, so perhaps this just happens then. And this could end up being almost like a new DLC for Fallout 4. This is the aspect of this that some of you could get excited for. When the Creations update dropped for Skyrim, a variety of verified creators were invited to early access to have content ready for release. I have to imagine the exact same thing will happen with Fallout 4. That's likely why that
And you know what that's gonna end with? A bunch of asset flip.
Steam Beta is getting changes as well, so some of these verified creators can access this content early and start making mods. In fact, they're probably doing that right now. So if you're somebody who's comfortable buying a $5 to $10 mod made by a mod author, or really more likely a mod team, it might almost just feel like a new Fallout 4 DLC. And while I get and agree with some of the criticisms of paid mods, particularly when featuring reused or just simpler pieces of content, there also have been absolutely amazing DLC-sized
Oh god, here we go again. The bot college was... No, it's trash, it's shit, it's stupid.
experiences to drop since the system came out. I've now bought several $10 mods that I had just as much fun with as official DLC. Several of these just felt like playing an official...
This is trash. There's a reason this is also a $10 DLC that you can buy in Starfield. There's a reason everyone only shows this part. Because it's just a giant explosion. Everything else is lackluster, complete trash, boring, and stupid about this mod.
DLC. So now, of course, I get why some people do not agree with this system whatsoever, but the reality is, after having some conversations with people in the program, there are authors or author teams out there that are investing thousands to tens of thousands of dollars to get these mods out. And that kind of investment is really only possible due to these being paid mods. And of course, if you don't like this, you could just stick to free mods. Although you'll still likely be forced to see paid mods, especially for those of you on consoles, because it's all going to be in one menu now. Although I wouldn't expect any new DLCs from Bethesda themselves. They never released anything on the Skyrim side of this program, and honestly I doubt they do for Fallout 4, even though that would probably make them a bunch of money. But especially due to timing, the Fallout 4 side of this update should be right around the new season of the TV show, which means that you really are going to want to get those paid mods out ASAP to capitalize on the TV show audience. So personally, I suspect a fair amount of new paid content to come in Q4 whenever this update drops. We know the Season 2 of the Fallout TV show is vague.
I expect so much slop if this happens. So much slop.
Focus, so I just have to imagine at least some of these paid mods will follow that theme. Although, at least as of right now, this is really just me speculating. I have no idea what the mod authors are actually going to add in, but Fallout 4 will likely see bug fixes and even some quality of life updates, even beyond just...
If Bethesda tries to fix the bugs in this game, they're gonna make more bugs. That has historically always happened. Bethesda claims they fix a bug. 2 to 3 more bugs suddenly magically appear. 2 weeks pass, somehow magically the old bug that they said that it is fixed also reappeared. And then you need to wait a month to fix the situation. Bethesda's lifeline for decades-long incompetence at this point has literally been modders fixing stuff. But now that's no longer gonna work.
Just paid mods getting added, and Fallout 4 needs this. The game is still broken. The next-gen patch from last year introduced a bug where if you install a mod that edits an NPC's face-gen data, your game will just stutter sometimes now. On PC, mods have fixed this, and most people just
I like how he says sometimes all of us know that this is a lie. This stutters constantly.
downgrade to the older non-next gen version. But this bug is currently unavoidable on Xbox, you just can't use some mods now. Like here, the only mod I have installed is the unofficial Fallout 4 patch, and yet I am getting regular stutters. And for many, these stutters start off small, like here, you'll get them all the time, but it's just a second or two, so you could almost deal with it. But many players report that as you get
stutters are one of the most annoying things in games. FPS drop and stutters, that's what does it for me, okay? Too much of that and it's over.
deeper and deeper into a save game, these stutters end up getting quite severe, lasting several seconds at a time potentially. And that's not even the only bug to come from this. Some NPCs lost their face gen data with this update, so now their appearance is just incorrect. Some users have to constantly restart their game to access the mod menu in the first place, or they're going to get this error. And even once in the mod menu, the search no longer works properly. You'll be scrolling for a while to find that mod you're looking for. VATS will target enemies through walls, but since your bullets can't shoot through walls, it just becomes a bit
It's almost like the second coming of Fallout 76, huh?
less functional with finding targets. And the important note about all of this is these are new. The game didn't have many of these issues 2 years ago, but last year Bethesda implemented them with the next gen patch and then just left them there and moved on to Shattered Space QA. So at the very least, I do hope this is addressed by the update coming later this year, although I don't know that for sure. I can't imagine Bethesda adds in paid mods and leaves in all of these bugs, but I also couldn't have imagined them leaving all of these bugs in the first place. Although, in Skyrim's creation update, it did feature a variety of fixes and even quite a few new quality of life features, so I am hopeful for what comes to Fallout 4. Although, yeah, this will almost certainly break mods. Fallout 4 is an almost 10-year-old game, and this will likely have a major impact on the modding scene. Some mods just won't be updated to work on the new version anytime soon, and some mods won't be updated ever. But that's not all that's coming. Something interesting is also going on with Fallout 76, as that game is getting its biggest update ever later this year.
Between you and I.
Yeah.
So.
You haven't seen this.
Oh yeah, the slop game that is complete garbage and no one should play is getting an update. Wow. Wow, I'm so excited.
Take off your headphones. Between you and I, end of this year, we have probably the biggest update to Fallout 76 ever.
So far, the biggest and most interesting update to Fallout 76 has been the ability to fish. So, that does not tell you a lot.
That was from an interview with Paris at Summer Game Fest Playdays. Fun fact, I was...
Oh, and the people who are going to say, well, that's not the... It is. You know it is. The ability to sell and catch fish was probably the most meaningful thing they have ever done in Fallout 76. Because it's a dumpster fire.
Also supposed to do an interview here, but sadly, some people don't know how to stop at stop signs. But yeah, this is seemingly a massive reveal. Fallout 76's biggest update so far was Wastelanders, which added in human NPCs and dialogue choices. That update was massive. I mean, even just look at the wiki page for the number of new characters, the new quests, and even some of the new items added in.
This would be so impressive if any of this was not fucking shit. And the battle pass didn't cost $100. And this was not microtransaction hell. It would be a little bit more impressive if any of this was good.
This was a massive amount of new content for the game, and no other update has even come close. But now we're getting something even bigger, and in the most recent public test server, we even have some clues around which direction this update is going. The current BTS is really testing out two things: the ongoing balance changes to Fallout 76. If you've not played the game in a while, things feel very different now. They're finally changing up the meta in major ways, and frankly it's awesome. And even the camp building system got an overhaul, which is really just a massive quality of life improvement while building. I might actually build out my own camp now for the first time in years. Those are the changes we're supposed to be testing, but players also noticed something interesting on the PTS. That Point Pleasant Bridge got a big...
By the way, I wonder how they're gonna deal with this. Because there's someone's probably gonna stack 10 billion light bulbs in one square with the new camp building system and completely break the servers. So I really wonder how this is gonna end out.
Expansion. This is how the bridge looks right now on the live servers. At one end, there's a little cultist room that is a part of an event, and you can find these vines around it. But as you work your way further into the bridge, not much else is going on. It's just a destroyed bridge. Now in the PTS, there's far more cultist influence. Things were updated so that small cultist room extends much further onto this bridge, and very notably, these interloper vines occupy nearly the entire side of the bridge now. It's not totally clear what all of this means.
Oh, and if you're confused, what the hell is this? Is this like a nature thing? No, this is some Cthulhu bullshit. If you did not know, Fallout 76 has went full on into cosmic horrors, and well, it's not really horrors. It's like vaguely Cthulhu-esque mythos, and that's pretty much it. Some Lovecraft bullshit, effectively. That's it. Fallout 76 is not even Fallout any longer. It's not a post-apocalyptic survival game. It's a everyone's stupid and here's a bunch of Cthulhu worshippers type of game. It's not even Fallout. Fallout 76 is not even honestly Fallout any longer.
But there are big clues. On the bridge are new building supplies, and there's a new event in the files around rebuilding this bridge. So perhaps you're going to have some kind of event around rebuilding here, and then eventually it'll be constructed and we could cross the bridge to Ohio. If you look at a map at Point Pleasant in real life, this bridge will lead to Ohio. It's even crossing the Ohio River even in-game. So now, that's what many fans are expecting from the biggest update ever. Some kind of Ohio-themed expansion, perhaps looking at some completely new factions or lore. One of the cool parts about this is Ohio just doesn't have a ton going on in Fallout lore right now. It has been mentioned several times in Fallout 76 already though, and Bethesda likes to tease things like this with Fallout, so we're almost certainly getting at least something around Ohio. There's definitely a lot of evidence pointing towards that, but as far as what that actually is, it's basically impossible to say. Ohio just doesn't have any established lore that we can go off of. They could reuse existing factions or introduce a bunch of totally new ones. Or hey, maybe it's just a new raid that takes us to Ohio. Maybe there's not a questline there at all. We really have no idea. Although there is another theory floating around as a result of these recent John Rush interviews that will also get many of you excited. During the various interviews at Summer Game Fest, a few mentions of things around Fallout 3 came up. At one point, the new update was described as megaton sized.
This December, a huge megaton sized update coming to players.
And even earlier in
Remember when they said that Shattered Space is gonna be the Far Harbor of Starfield? I remember. Yeah, needless to say, that was a lie.
that interview, John Rush talks about interesting opportunities with Fallout 3's Capital Wasteland.
And location wise, and not saying we're doing this, but location wise, you know, it being so close to the Capital Wasteland, there's a lot of room for storytelling with that too, like maybe a glimpse into things that happened before Fallout 3, or, you know, just as an example.
Back in 2021, I showed you guys the blocked out DuPont Circle that was built as an expeditions test cell. So this never ended up getting used. It seems like they were just prototyping certain locations that you'd be able to go to. And based off this gameplay, it doesn't even look like this cell was ever finished. But a return to DC is something that the Fallout 76 team has obviously considered for years now, although that is fairly obvious. DC is right next to West Virginia geographically, but I'm not sure this is happening now. I think Ohio is definitely the safe bet, but they'll almost certainly do a DC DLC at some point. That's likely why John Rush has ideas around it. Maybe season 3 of the Fallout TV shows when we get that one. And even just calling the update Megaton size could be a nuke reference. At the time of Fallout 76, Megaton doesn't even exist yet. These walls don't go up until over 100 years later. Although honestly, that could provide some of the most unique and interesting gameplay we've ever had in a Fallout game. Just like John Rush says, imagine going to the Capital Wasteland a full 100 years before many of our favorite characters are even there. But just speaking overall, it definitely seems like a ton of Fallout content is coming later this year. And if you do want to,
I'm sure all of it is gonna be amazing. None of it's gonna be absolute slop. Anyway, that was Juicehead. 10 out of 10. Bye.